Hello again, and welcome to my tutorial about making yeast bread. For today's tutorial, we're gonna need a plastic scraper, mixing bowl, 1 cup of water, warm. The temperature should be between 110 degrees Fahrenheit and 117 degrees Fahrenheit. We also gonna need 3 cups of bread flour. You can combine bread flour and whole wheat if you wanted to make a bread that has a little content, a higher content of fibers. We also gonna need, well, I have priorly measured the 3 cups of flour, but make sure you have a dry measuring cup. This is just for flour. Make sure you measure your liquid using a measuring liquid cup. We're also gonna need a set of measuring spoons. We're gonna need salt, sugar, and instant dry yeast. For instant dry yeast, you don't need to wait until the yeast build a foamy mixture or build foam, as it is instant, so no waiting. So just make sure the water is warm. So this is what you normally get in package. I normally get them in larger amount, so I pay less. So I'm gonna show you a home technique. Not everyone has the possibility to own a electrical mixer. So if you never make bread because you don't have a electrical mixer, that's it's not a something that should stop you from doing it. So you can do it just using a set of home equipment. So let's begin with the water. In reality, if you wanted to add all of your dry ingredients first and then add the water, that's really up to you. I can do either way. So just to so I can show you that it is possible to add all of the dry ingredients first. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kind of change the dynamic here. So into my flour, I'm gonna add the yeast. So understand that you make it a formula. So just follow your formula. I'm not necessarily gonna call for the all of the amount as you make it a different recipe. So just make sure you get a good formula that works and follow my steps. So we have the yeast, flour, sugar, and salt in the mixing bowl. So those are all my dry ingredients. So the reason why I'm doing this is so you can see that you don't necessarily need to wait for the yeast to open or to form CO2, or as all often referred as react. So we don't need to wait for that. Now that I've added all of my dry ingredients, I begin to add the water. Do that as a whole, so add them all. At this point, if you wanted to add some fat, you may also do that. Either your choice of oil, melted butter. I don't necessarily like to add fat because that's kind of interfere with my gluten formation. So we need the gluten in order to keep all the gas, all the CO2 as a result of fermentation trapped inside. And that's also the reason why we use a strong flour. When I say strong flour, I'm referring to bread flour. So let's begin. So I begin to mix. So my goal is to form a kind of like a very sticky mixture, and as I continue to mix, it will begin to come together. So at this point I can involve my hands and begin the gluten formation. So your goal is to incorporate all of your flour with your liquid, so you're able to manipulate the dough. If you're doing it by hand, make sure to give a really strong mixture, very even mixture. So try to incorporate all of your flour with your dry ingredients. So now that I have formed a kind of like a dough, incorporated all of the flour with the liquid, so I will then transfer it to my table. So process of developing gluten is, so you put them on a flat surface, you can dust it with flour, and then you begin from the center forward until you develop all the gluten. So the idea is to make a really shiny dough. If you see it that is still kind of like grainy, or it doesn't look shiny, then it's not ready yet. You really wanted to make sure it is beginning to get elastic, and that takes about 10 minutes, between 10 to 15 minutes. So that is the process of making your dough. This is step 1 of 3 steps. So I have recorded all of the steps separately, so you will have access to see step 2 as well as 3, which include the final product. So I just kind of continue kneading the dough. Then I'm gonna take the mixing bowl I use, gonna spray some oil on the bottom, and then I will cover it with plastic or use a towel, cover it, allow the dough to double the size, which is called proofing. Once it's proof, and it depends the environment, if you're doing it on a warm environment, it may take shorter amount of time. But if your temperature is below 70, between 70 and 50, that will take a few hours, sometimes 3 hours to double the size. So that's your sort of goal, to double the size. And then you will take it, you will punch the dough, allow the dough to proof again, and evenly distribute the creation of CO2 to soften the gluten. And then you will shape your dough. You wait until the shaped pieces of dough double the size, and then you will bake it. And that is the process of making yeast bread. So we're gonna use this dough to make focaccia, and we're also gonna be making dinner rolls. In my next episode, I will show you how to make a bread starter, so we can use it instead of using dry yeast. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy making bread at home.